And welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Biohazard 3 Real Survival. In the last episode, Jill Valentine and I cleared out the remaining corridors down here on the ground floor at the police station, also known as the first floor, and managed to retrieve Jill's vaunted S.T.A.R.S card. Well, if Nemesis didn't already know that she was a S.T.A.R.S member before, Nemesis, he, certainly would know upon acquiring it in our possession. But anyway, we need to move on to the second floor and keep on moving. Yeah, my stocks of, well, our stocks of ammunition are dwindling at the moment, so we need to rely on the shotgun. Head on up to the second floor, which doesn't have the second floor music, I'm afraid, but never mind. So, up here. Try and use one shot to take them down. You're all the way over there. Zombie over there. Just line up your shot, Jill. As he shambles along the wall. There's a very overweight zombie there. The doorknob turns, but the door won't budge. It seems to be nailed from the other side. Indeed it is, with a piece that's broken down at the bottom that unfortunately we can't climb through. And you are going to be a nuisance. I don't mind wasting one more shotgun shell. Down to 17. Unfortunately, Jill would probably not be happy about that, but in any event, Jill won't be able to access the corridor on the other side, which not really that useful. There is this statue that's been placed here in the middle of the end of this corridor. Statue of a god holding up his soul. Now, this particular statue just actually happens to have a pair of companion statues, which are part of a puzzle relating to the two Virgin Heart rubies. The first one here, the second one that's hidden behind the Hellfire painting, both of which are used to access the secret compartment in the art room on the eastern side of the second floor of the precinct. But of course, Jill doesn't need to worry herself about that. She has more immediate concerns with the RPD precinct. Apologies for that minor interruption there. Just had to take a bit of a break, but we're back on course. There it is, the place where Jill Valentine came to work when she wasn't busy doing investigations outside of the precinct. The vaunted S.T.A.R.S office. S.T.A.R.S, as you know, stands for Special Tactics and Rescue Service. Of course, we might as well go inside. Except we can't. Because we'll need the S.T.A.R.S key to unlock it, and we don't have the S.T.A.R.S key, unfortunately. We have Jill's S.T.A.R.S card, but we don't have the key to the office. Sweep around this corridor, and I probably should have looked for zombies, but well, Jill ultimately is watching out where I'm failing. Solid barricade has been set up here. In other words, we can't enter through this door, which leads into the very hallway which is behind the other barricaded door. But of course, next to this door is a small ventilation shaft. It's far too small for an adult to fit into. But a 12-year-old girl named Sherry Birkin might be able to do it. Not that Jill's path would ever cross with hers. So, had a bit of a minor dead end, but nothing too strenuous. The fact that we've cleared out the zombies in the other corridor, which is definitely something. Saves them from being a nuisance later, in spite of the fact that we could easily have just let them be. They would have actually posed too much of a threat. Just making sure that nothing untowards jumps out at us while we're making our way through, and we haven't been accosted by Lickers or Nemesis for that matter. He's not going to wait around forever. We need to be extremely cautious. And of course, it'll be only a matter of time before the hordes of zombies outside eventually decide to break into the police station. So we need to be prepared and on guard at all times. Oh, Jill, that way lies the sleeping zombie who is not really asleep, he's just pretending. Yeah, we should consider ourselves lucky that Nemesis hasn't decided to storm the castle yet. But I'm not holding my breath over that one. Not in the slightest. Probably could have walked around the other way, but we're going this way. Past the goddess statue. The S.T.A.R.S card, we can use the security terminal. Due to the emergency, the key to the S.T.A.R.S office has been moved to the evidence room. Today's password for the safe is 4312. So the S.T.A.R.S key was in the evidence room. The code is 4312. Made a mental note of that. And of course, surprisingly, S.T.A.R.S wasn't completely disbanded by Brian Irons in order to keep them from investigating Umbrella any further. Of course, they were put on suspension and technically replaced by the very similar in sort of scope Raccoon SWAT team, which was supposed to have Leon Scott Kennedy as one of its key founding members, but yeah. But of course, as we all know, Joe Valentine, in protest to Iron's corruption, formally resigned, announced her resignation from S.T.A.R.S, which is pretty much the reason why her S.T.A.R.S card was in the precinct to begin with. But even though she resigned from the organization, she was still considered a member. But maybe she resigned to throw Irons and the others off the scent. Unfortunately, in this instance, it hasn't worked. So now we enter the code. 43112. And lo and behold, the Emblem Key, otherwise known as the S.T.A.R.S key, which we'd noticed if we examine the emblem that's on it. S.T.A.R.S emblem is engraved. That is probably the nicest keys that I've seen compared with the night keys and the card keys. But anyway, we have the means to enter the S.T.A.R.S office right about now. We need to make our way upstairs with due haste, but actually before we do that, it's probably a good idea to get rid of a few things in the inventory, because otherwise we're going to be in a huge spot of bother for when we actually reach the S.T.A.R.S office. And I really do not want any setbacks right about now. So, don't really have any need for Jill's S.T.A.R.S card, and as far as Jill is concerned, I can probably stay here, if only to temporarily lure Nemesis away for the time being. But in any event, the time has finally come to enter Jill's old headquarters and see what she thinks of the place. And still no sign of Octomonkey. That's pretty good. Of course, our luck's bound to run out sooner or later. Try and beeline it as much as possible. There we have it. We have the S.T.A.R.S key, which we'll no longer need. It's excellent. Will we discard it? Yes, we shall. Would have been nice to keep, but we have no further use for it anyway. So, or at any rate, I should say. Without further ado, let us enter the S.T.A.R.S office. And we don't get the theme, nothing more to do here, which is, I'm kind of disappointed that's not, I wasn't here, but in any event, let's have a look and see if anything useful has appeared in the fax machine while the stars are incognito. Facts from the Kendo Gun Shop. To the boys and stars. I have some good news for you from my brother Joe. He has finalized the new handgun for official use. It is the S.T.A.R.S M92F, or let me read that again. It is the S.T.A.R.S M92. It is the M92F S.T.A.R.S Special, but he calls it the Samurai Edge. It's the most balanced of the Kendo custom guns. Joe said, if you miss your targets with this, you should be carrying a teething ring instead of a gun in your holster. And it is a photograph of the S.T.A.R.S trademark Beretta. The M92FS, which of course stands for S.T.A.R.S. Samurai Edge Beretta handgun. The goods will be delivered along with their proper documentation. I'm sure you'll be surprised when you see what kind of excellent parts are used for the M92F. I know you'll want to thank the good people who developed it. Sincerely, Robert Kendo, Kendo Gun Shop. Well, that was nice of him. And of course he's on very good terms with senior Alpha Team member Barry Burton. Of course, much like Dario Russo, Robert Kendo isn't going to be leaving Raccoon City anytime soon. And Jill stares down forlornly at what used to be her old work desk. But, alas, no longer. But it does contain something important on it. A handy-dandy lockpick, which is basically a bent safety pin with a wire, which is a far cry from the S.T.A.R.S lockpick she had during the mansion incident. And there's really nothing else Jill wants to say about the about her desk, but she does have things to say about her teammates' desks, such as the desk of Chris Redfield, a S.T.A.R.S team member. Its disorganization probably reflects the owner's personality, and it does. And there is a jacket and guitar that will definitely be never seen again. Or maybe they will, who knows. A large communications device. Unfortunately, it's out of commission, so we can't send or receive transmissions, or apparently we can't send any messages from here, but maybe we can still receive messages via this communications console, which is what the S.T.A.R.S used as part of their intelligence gathering and anti-terrorist capabilities. Nothing on the bookshelf. A box of files from past cases. Nothing useful here. And lo and behold, a first aid spray, which I shall take wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly, I'll take that. Of course, we look at this desk. It's the desk of Rebecca, a rookie member of S.T.A.R.S, the sole surviving Bravo Team S.T.A.R.S member. Of course, the Alpha and Bravo teams kind of switched up their desks whenever the other members were out on a mission. And lucky enough to get some more handgun bullets, which is absolutely fantastic. It's the desk of Barry Burton, a S.T.A.R.S team member. A pair of replica guns are on the desk. Oh, Barry, never change, in spite of what happened in the mansion incident. It wasn't your fault. And of course, we have this desk at the front of the S.T.A.R.S office. It's the desk of Wesker, Captain of S.T.A.R.S. And also the leader of the Alpha team, as well as a traitor to the entire S.T.A.R.S unit, as not only was he a former Umbrella scientist and chief researcher, but he was also a security operative who eventually decided to sell them out for his own personal gain. Unfortunately, he met his grisly demise at the end of the claws of the T-002 Tyrant that he was hoping to steal away. Of course, speaking of the S.T.A.R.S members, there's the portrait of them right there, sometime before Rebecca's arrival. And standing there on the right, to the far right of the portrait, next to Barry Burton and the late Joseph Frost, was our old pal, Brad Vickers, now lying in a pool of his own blood at the front of the police station. That is truly unfortunate. Nothing behind Wesker's desk, and these medals seem to be just wondrous accolades. There's some more trophies behind this, below this TV, attached to the roof here. One of the trophies reads, Marksman Contest winner Chris Redfield, who is always a very good shot. Perhaps the best handgun specialist in the S.T.A.R.S office. Now there is one final thing that I want to have a look at, which is the weapons locker conveniently placed in the S.T.A.R.S office. What exactly are we going to find inside of it? Let's have a look.
No! No! That's literally what I didn't want!
I have mixed feelings about this, ladies and gentlemen. On the one hand, the Magnum revolver is a decent weapon. A hugely decent weapon, to be sure. Unfortunately, we don't have the ammunition for the Magnum right about now. We'd be fools to to leave it behind, but oh my word, it's a Magnum revolver, not the Desert Eagle that Leon gets, and certainly not the hand cannon that Barry Burton has. Smith & Wesson Magnum 629C, a large stainless steel revolver. A classic type, equipped with weights to reduce the recoil. It uses 44 Magnum bullets, or 44 caliber Magnum bullets, I should say. Oh my word. Well, to say that I might be in a bit of bother after that is putting it lightly. Finding the Magnum here in the S.T.A.R.S weapon locker is going to be a serious handicap for me, especially since this is a real survival Let's Play of Biohazard 3. But I'm going to end this episode here, and when we return, we shall try to make it out of the RPD and hopefully avoid the wrath of Nemesis that lurks outside. As always, dear adventurers, until next we meet.